Hello. Good morning. Um yeah, let's spend a few minutes together. I've actually done a bit of work. I've been really inspired with this project last couple of days. And I thought we could look at that. I have a few bugs to fix. Well, a couple. So maybe we can talk about the changes I made related to that. Other than that, feeling good today. I think baby made a record last night, 10:30 to 5:30 sleeping, which is great. Yeah, every single routine worked out this morning. And I think it's because our daughter is having I don't know if they when you deliver back like bottles and stuff and you get money. We call it pante in Norwegian, and they have like a pante party at kindergarten. So all the kids has been like collecting bottles and stuff, and then they go to the store, deliver them, they get some money, and they buy candy for the kids. So they kind of every kid kind of says what they want. And yeah, she was really looking forward to this morning, and I think that's why we had a good morning. So I can see why. Like I remember picking up. There's this phase. You pick up your kid from kindergarten where they don't want to go home, because they have fun, like they're playing with their friends. And I remember so many parents just having cookies and crackers and stuff, trying to kind of lure their kid out of kindergarten. And I can see why. Like it reduces a lot of stress. Yeah. Anyways, so I made some changes to first of all, the thing with the checklist that's implemented. So now if we go to to-dos here, I'm super happy the way it was implemented. Yeah, I'm having a doctor's appointment. It's actually not this is X-ray in Norwegian. It's actually like ultrasound check. It's just I had like a checkup at the doctor, and I wanted to do like an additional, not because they think there's something wrong. It's me more complaining about being tired and carrying a baby all the time. Like my body hurts. Anyways, so now you can have a checklist on a to-do, and you can see you have time and date and everything. So this is like, yeah, some checkpoints, and it looks really nice. So happy about that. And the way these checklists work technically is that they are not stored on the to-do itself. There's a separate collection called checklist items, and there are all your checklist items regardless of to-do, but they have a reference to the to-do they belong to. And what this enables is that you can check individual checklist items in a collaborative way, because we're not updating the to-do itself, we're updating the explicit checklist item. Which means that you get a notification from Firebase on that specific checklist item, and that's the thing that's toggled. One thing that this led to is that when I archive a to-do, I also have to delete the checklist items. Archive actually means delete currently. But that's no biggie. Like I just do, I can show you the code for that. I just do archive to do. Then I just go in and I already have like the latest version of the data, so I can just check my local cache because that's always up to date. Like, do I have any checklist items with the to-do ID or the ID I'm currently trying to delete? And if I do, I go through them, delete them in the collection, and then I delete the to-do. Yeah, so that should work pretty well. Yeah, and the other thing is that I'm actually I'm keeping it normalized. So in the feature, you see that checklist items by to-do ID. So I'm keeping them separate from the to-dos themselves, which is not really ideal. Like, because now we're putting complexity into the app. Like, the app doesn't care about these checklist items being separated from the to-dos, because from the perspective of the app, they are actually part of a to-do. But it created some complexities. So for example, if I were to actually make them part of the to-dos, I would have to wait for the checklist items to load before I could notify that the to-dos were loaded. But there's no way for me to efficiently control that, because it's based on snapshots. So I'm not like explicitly getting the to-dos and getting the checklist items. I'm just listening to a snapshot, and this snapshot, one might happen before the other. And then you need this logic of, okay, if this has loaded, if the checklist items has loaded but not the to-dos, wait for the to-dos and then add the checklist items. Or the to-dos has loaded, has the checklist items loaded. If not, wait for the checklist items and then apply them. It's just really crappy code, and I had no like framework for doing that. Framework meaning I didn't have any implementations that deals with that kind of async complexity, which is really annoying. But it made me think about, like, it would be nice to introduce RxJS in the specific browser implementation, because it does deal with some asynchronous complexities, just like the thing we talked about right now. But anyways, yeah, so ideally we wouldn't do this, but now the code is super clean inside the browser. We are just grabbing it just uses the same on snapshot thing. It just admits that it's updated, and then it rather creates this map where you see the checklist items by to-do ID. So yeah, it would be interesting to try to refactor this to RxJS at some point. But again, like, that's the only async complexity I have, is this waiting for one or the other. But with Firebase, it does make a lot of sense to use something like RxJS, because everything is like stream based. It's not go fetch, like, it depends on how you implement it. You can implement Firebase as a request response, but typically you don't want to do that. You want to like just have a stream of data. Yes, but I'm happy with the implementation. And then what I've done here is that you have this specific list of to-dos, where you can basically just go through all your to-dos. I'm not sure how helpful this is. Like, why would you just look at the to-dos? I'm not sure, but at least they are there. And then we have plan week, which is quite interesting now. So now you plan the next week. This might actually be explicit, plan next week. I think I'm going to do that. And then rather, like, the chance of you having to edit the current week is like, maybe I should just remove that possibility. Because like, you might come up with something during the week that you kind of, on Thursday you came up with something you need to do on Friday, for example. That might happen. But like, it's in my experience using the app from before, that like rarely happens. And if it happens, you don't really yeah, I don't know. But an alternative would be to have some kind of edit functionality on the somewhere else, because then you know that this is always about the next week. Like, now it's both, it's current week and next week, which is, it's kind of confusing, I think. Anyways, but what's cool now is that I sort it, or I categorize it. So you have, first you see the to-dos that was actually committed to like the previous week. So you're first you kind of go through the stuff that you were supposed to do up until this new week. As you can see, every one of them has some commitment by somebody. And then you have events happening that next week. So I'm going to the doctor, and Santans, that's like, that's what we call, it's a holiday. I don't remember the English term for it. And then you have what needs to be done, or what can be done. And I had a hard time like naming these, like giving these headers, because they should be like encouraging, like what can be done instead of what needs to be done. Anyways, so these are like open to-dos that has not been committed to before. It doesn't have a date or anything like that. And then you have future events. And here we actually have a bug. Because this is within the next week. So this, like, we should check the date here so that it's actually beyond the next week. Stuff happening beyond the next week. Cool. Okay. And then, yeah, so when I add something now, this is also gotten pretty epic. And you can set a date if you want to do that. You can set time if you want to do that. And then you can add the checklist here. Pretty awesome, right? Happy about this. Cool. Yeah, and I got a note from the neighbor. When you go through groceries now and you search for something, and I click it, it puts you right back into focus. So like when you're in search mode and you start adding up like groceries, it always puts you back into the input, which was a nice feedback. Because these kinds of details, that's what makes an application good, actually. Like conceptually, it might make a lot of sense, but if you don't nail those tiny interactions, that's what makes it like epic. Anyways, let's try to fix a bug here. Future events needs to be beyond week. Yeah, so that's the thing we saw here. This one isn't supposed to be there. So let's check that logic. So the way I do this is that I have these selectors. And here we have events by weekday. So what we have now is, I think, no, sorry, this is the wrong one. This is the event. So like on the front here, you can see also get events. That's that thing. We need to go to plan week feature. So this is the thing that builds up the categories. You can see previous week, events this week, later events. So later events, that's the thing that's wrong. So we basically have to check. Yeah, maybe we can just do an else if here. Is within week. We basically need to check. That's kind of weird now. Is within week? Because it pops up twice, doesn't it? No. No, it's just because it's... okay. Let's see. Let's see. Previous week date. So we're creating a date from the ID of the week. So what we can do here is, so if it is within the week, we do that thing. If to do date and God damn it, how do we do this? Because is within week. But this is a previous week. Do I add? Oh, we shouldn't have -7 there. We should have plus. Yeah, so current week date would be add days 7. Okay, this is oops. So the thing is, I didn't want to pass in both previous week. Like, we need the previous week to figure out what did you do the previous week. But then we kind of also need like the ID of the current week, which we can infer from the ID of the previous week. But maybe we should be more next. Yeah, so the thing is, previous week and then week ID. We can like explicitly pass in week ID. I think we should just do that. Yeah, because then we don't have to add days. Yeah, this is much better. Get date from week ID. Yeah, and we can call it current week ID. Current week ID. And like current week ID might be next week ID. Like it can be both. Yes, and then current week ID. And then we actually have to pass that in. So where do we do this? This would be in plan week view. I guess this should give an error now. Does it give an error? There we go. This needs to also have previous week and week ID. Cool. And this should not have the minus thing. Okay, now we're good. So what we're doing now is we're saying if the to-do has a date and it is within the current week, then we add it if to-do, and now we want to check if it's like beyond this week. So what we can do, and so now we need to know the end of the week. Okay, so if we need a difference in days. Yes, so difference in days, to do date and current week date is more than because there's certain dates we don't want to display, right? We don't want to display, or do we? That's the thing. Like if you have a date that's like old, well, it does appear in the to-dos list. Yeah, okay, so let's, the thing is like if you have an old date you haven't like archived, it won't pop up here. That's the thing. So if no to do, we have to be explicit about that as well. Yeah, let's just do this for. So if difference in days is more than 7, I think this is the right thing. Let's see. Let's see. How'll the plan go? Okay, so we have these events. Yeah, and then future events. It worked. Nice. Okay, bug fixed. Then Show day in plan next. Yeah, so this is also a thing I wanted to fix. So when you see events happening, you still see the date. You don't see which day of the next week. By the way, I'm going to add remove next. Make planning always about next week. I think that's better. Okay, anyways, it shows the date, but it's not really like which day is that. Your context, your brain is thinking next week. So we should have the date there still, but we should also have the day. I think we can just add that. Should we maybe just add it to the thing? Let's see. Let's just try that. So we have this thing called previous week, this event this week. Yeah, how do we... God damn it. This is getting a lot of props now. You know, maybe we should always have the day. Yeah, I think we should have that. Because it's just, at least I think about it that way. So on the to-do item, when you have a date, we don't only show you the date, 20 June. So we say, I think we have the days in here. Do we? Yeah, it's from the dashboard view. The to-dos view. I do think the Intel thing day numeric. Yeah, how would we do this? Oh, I guess we need to, because we do have like, we do have the day, right? Get day. Do we have like the name? Oh, no. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so we can do to locale date string. Okay. And that we can use that to look up in the messages. So let's try this. And we have to do 2 lowercase. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this would be something we implement here. Oh, I already have, okay, I already have weekdays. Yeah, we can just use that. And then we use the index. Oh, I already have get current day index. Oh, it's get. That's current day index. Get day index. Oh, get day index. We can change this. Rename get day index. And what we're going to do, we're going to make this optional. And we're going to say new date. Oh, like that. So now this should still work for the other one, and now we can reuse it here. And we can even have, so this is get day index, and then we have get day name, where we do return weekdays, get day index, date. Exactly. So get day name to do date, and we're going to use this in our to-dos view. It's kind of annoying. Do I have like its session index? Yeah. It's a little bit annoying, like we have dashboard view. It's by component now, which means that we should really, it's recommended that you like duplicate it. And why are you complaining? Oh, it's a number. Oh. Okay, we'll support both. And get day index. I think we'll do the same here. Okay. So now we should get the thing. Given that we fixed this thing. So we need to duplicate this because this is part of plan week view. Well, it's actually not. It's also part of the to-dos view. Okay, I think we do need a common. So let's just add that common. I'm making that convention now. We have common. idea where I was using. Well, of course, we can just check the dashboard view for that. So let's move the same thing here to common. And let's fix it here first. T. Oh, I guess this was inside the to-do item. Well, didn't it have like multiple? No, it's a single. User installations, common. And then we have T common. Let's see, and dashboard view. This also needs to be T common. Okay, I've completely neglected the iPad version, which needs some more love and attention. You couldn't? Dashboard view, T common. Oh, I guess we have, oh, it's here as well. Where are you? Okay. Am I using it somewhere else? Yeah, I'm using it on the title. Here we go. There we go. Okay, cool. And when I go to to-dos, yeah, it says Tuesday, June 22nd at that time. I think that's way better. It's on Tuesday next week. Wow, already? And that's on Thursday. Nice, cool. That's also fixed. Yeah, okay. I think this is good enough for now. One thing I want to do with the stream is I got an API key from Loom. So Loom is this video recording thing, and I want to implement it in the Excalidraw app. And I thought that would be a fun change of pace for the stream. It's like we're getting into very much details in this application, and I don't think it's that exciting. We are going to implement this dinner concept, which requires quite a bit of effort. Yeah, but I think we're going to do that instead. So maybe already from tomorrow, we'll start like a new stream series, and we'll do the Loom API key thingy. And I do need them to fix something for me related to running this on my local machine, but we can start planning it at least tomorrow. Yes, cool. Let's see. Let's make a new version out of this. Package.json 27 commit bug fixes and improvements. Push it. It's kind of cool how it works. If I go to Vercel now, it should notify me There it starts. By the way, really cool to see what they're doing with Next.js. I didn't see the whole presentation, but I did see the live collaboration part of it, which is really, really cool how they did that. And it's interesting because we are building something at Code Sandbox, and it's very difficult to align people on these big product ideas, especially how they differentiate from other products. So, oh fuck, did I do something? Oh, god damn it. Yeah, get current day index. Oh, didn't I save? Ah, isn't that typical? Yeah, it's hard to align people on a product vision, especially at the complexity of Code Sandbox and the new stuff we're building. But the thing is, like, if you have a very specific, like in terms of dev tools, that's the thing. That's what we're talking about. Like, Code Sandbox has some dev tools. It has like the preview can be considered a dev tool. Yeah, like a console. You have React dev tools in there. And the thing is, when you talk about dev, and then you can think about like the Chrome dev tools, which is like at what abstraction does the dev tool operate? So in Chrome, it operates as the runtime, the JavaScript runtime. Like, it doesn't support other languages, right? It has an opinion about what language it supports and the environment it's running in, which is the browser. And then you have something like, on the other end, you have something like Next.js. You have the live dev tool. But that's explicitly implemented for the Next.js framework. It doesn't work on any other framework or any other stack, right? So it's extremely opinionated. And at Code Sandbox, we are trying to do something in between this. So we do want to make opinions on the dev tools, meaning that if you have an idea to build a dev tool for React, for example, you should be able to do that, but it should operate on the same baseline as any other dev tool. If a dev tool is for Vue, for example, it's just that you choose to use the React dev tool because you have React in the project. The reason I'm talking about this is that it's so difficult to explain, and I'm having such a hard time aligning people on what this actually means. I'm actually making a video after this. Oh, look at that. I'm making a video after this to help people understand this concept. I'm just trying to find, like, I guess it's so different and new that I can't find the analogy that kind of makes it, of course, that's what you're talking about. Which can sometimes be a good thing because it means that we're doing something novel, like we're doing something that nobody else has done before. So I open the app, it says, oh, can I see it? It says I have an update. I click update, it refreshes. Isn't that just beautiful? And then if we go to plan the week, there we go. In production, you see then the name of the day. Nice. This is super nice. This is super nice. Cool. Okay, I'm going to a meeting shortly, so we'll stop here. But yeah, let's start a new stream tomorrow. And it won't be any coding tomorrow. It will be like planning. We need to get my local machine to open the... Yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to use the Loom API with the Excalibur Firebase project so that you can, in the Excalibur you create, you can record a video, and then it takes a snapshot of that Excalibur and stores it with a link to the video. And then you can have, like, the thing is, like with architecture, it grows over time. And then you have this history of videos, and you can see the Excalibur at that point in time. Anyways, we need to set up a local domain for this. It doesn't work with localhost, the Loom API. So we'll have to try to set that up. I've done it before. Hopefully it's not that much work, and we'll have to, I can send them an email in the meantime about what we're going to run it on. And hopefully maybe that's ready by tomorrow even. Cool. Yep. Thanks for following along, and I guess we'll talk more tomorrow. Bye bye.